Hello everyone, and welcome to How to Beat the Caretaker, another No Rest for the Wicked guide in which I'm going to walk you guys through all the mechanics of the Caretaker boss fight. I've been doing all the boss breakdowns for you right here, so hopefully you guys are getting some good information out of these videos. First and foremost, we're going to step into the mechanics. I'm going to jump around and we're going to just show you what to expect from this boss fight. Then we're going to let the entire fight play out while I give you guys my commentary and thoughts, what I was thinking, and how I kind of changed my strategy throughout the fight as well, and hopefully give you guys the full picture. While doing that, I'm going to show off my build, what I'm currently rocking and rolling when I stepped into this arena. Now, you'll notice I'm already at max level. One of the things I've been working on is a power leveling guide in which just a way of leveling up the quickest and getting the most unlocks as quickly as possible. So you'll notice that I'm kind of maybe a little bit overpowered in the fight itself, which obviously does lend a benefit to the experience. But at the end of the day, I hope you guys get a lot out of this video, and I hope you look forward to future content from me on this channel. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoy this content, and that's a great way of letting YouTube know that it was worth your time. But let's, without further ado, dive into the core mechanics. The first thing you'll notice, the Caretaker is not alone. He has his trusty friend Tusk with him, and Tusk will open up with this spinning attack move. Now, it's also important to notice, looking at the ground, wherever Tusk goes, he's going to leave a big purple amount of goop behind him. Now, ultimately, this goop does dissolve after a period of time, but you do not want to get caught into it. You can also see here, Tusk likes to do these various different slams on the ground, but do pay attention when he turns his back to you, because he's going to have that giant cleave. Now, going back to the beginning of the fight, you'll notice the Caretaker right out the gate has the ability to teleport around the room. That's one reason why I decided to focus in on Tusk firsthand. But you'll see here the Caretaker will like to put out these waves of plague damage while you're fighting Tusk, and so it's important to be paying attention to what he's doing, so that way you can avoid those waves while you're on the offensive. Now, once you get Tusk to below 50%, he's going to start to kind of doing this bunking Bronco move where he spins and kicks. I think this is fairly easy to avoid, but he will continue to do it for quite a while. Once you find an opening, you can start your attack phase, but still continuing to pay attention to what the Caretaker is up to, so you don't end up getting too much plague damage on you. Now, one nice thing is that when you do defeat Tusk, you'll notice that it actually knocks the Caretaker kind of out of commission for just a half second, which is nice because he has that teleport, which we'll get around. Now, one thing I do want to point out in fighting the Caretaker, pay attention, because when he talks, those are kind of like his tells to as of what he's about to do. So he does this move where he blasts out an animal that runs across the screen, and you can kind of clearly see that, and you can hear that when he says beasts of the field, and that's going to be something that's just a line AoE you just want to avoid. Here's where things get crazy. You're going to start to see him do this big wind up and ground smash, and this is going to put a lot of plague damage on you if you're ended up being caught by it. This is going to also level up later where he's going to do multiple of those. So he's going to start stacking the waves, which are just going to roll across the room, along with the big heavy smashes, which are big giant AoEs around him that you're going to want to get the heck out of the way from. He'll do this multiple times too. You can expect 3 to 4 times, and even increasing in the size of the AoE, becoming bigger and bigger as the fight goes on. This is also true for all his other mechanics. So you can see Beast of the Field, where he does it twice, in this case, where it just kind of stacks on that one tell. Also, he will level up his waves. You can see here, rather than the smaller waves that you've been facing the whole time, these are slower moving, but they're much wider. And you can also do those in addition to the smaller, faster moving waves that you still see. So just because the waves got upgraded doesn't mean that he's not going to use the faster, smaller waves as well. Now, here's a really good example where he just continues to do those AoE devastating moves, which have a massive AoE, really taking up about 70, maybe 80% of the arena. All right, and with that, we've seen all the mechanics, so let's let this whole fight play out while I show you guys the build that I'm currently using. So the opening cinematic for this boss fight, I think, really sets an awesome tone. I really liked, obviously this is something we've seen in the trailers before, absolutely both disgusting, and you can see just how the build of these characters, these monsters, have been corrupted from what they used to be to where they are now. The thing is, like, I really enjoyed about this fight, and one of the things I've been enjoying about the elemental changes with freeze being able to, with ice being able to freeze, it actually feels like I do get a pretty solid benefit from that, being able to stop one of these bosses in their tracks every so often. And the other thing I'd highly recommend is going into the fight with plenty of food. If you're struggling to find food, or if you're just wondering where all that takes place, be sure to upgrade Gordon in the town square. That way you'll have plenty of food at your disposal, which will come in handy in any of these boss fights. It's just a really good thing to do. I like the bunking Bronco thing, but it just seemed like a kind of a wasted attack. I don't know if anybody's struggling with that one, but I felt like that was pretty easy to avoid. And then you can also see that I do roll through the waves of plague, and as long as I guess I'm timing those iframe right, I don't get hit by it. But yeah, all in all, like, this fight felt both fun. It was great to see that we were taking on multiple enemies. And obviously the second enemy isn't just like in a standard ad phase where you just kind of burn them down and that's it. I did wonder, and I was kind of surprised that the Caretaker doesn't resummon Tusk. And that's something where I could see them, if they decide to iterate additional, kind of phases or additional difficulties, where you could see that that could become a skill set that he has that, yeah, if his life is full and you've knocked out Tusk, well, he could revive Tusk and start that whole phase and process all over again. Obviously, I think that would have made this fight, especially for where it is in the game right now, overly complex, and so that mechanic would be something much later in the game's life and journey. But I really did like that this part where he starts doing these giant smashes. I was caught off guard. You could see I got hit by the first one. I wasn't expecting it. I thought he was going to continue to do his wave phase, but this was something that was quite surprising and enjoyable. If I'm not, I do like how they really kind of set these mechanics and these boss fights together. I also, while trying to make this guide, was like listening to the things he said. So his words do kind of have a meaning to what he's about to do, but it isn't kind of a one-to-one. So it's not like he says the same thing each time. For example, we will break them. Break ends up being the theme in terms of the mechanic, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's exactly what he's going to do. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So one of the things that if you've got the volume turned up on the fight, at least if nothing else, if you're focusing in on Tusk, you can listen to what he's talking about and going from there. This is where I started getting a little bit nervous because I started running out of food charges. I still had a few, but I was like, well, I'm going to try to put some ranged damage on him, and I don't have any ranged options right now on this specific build. So you saw me throw that freeze potion. I was also curious, is like, can I freeze him with these things? We'll have to wait and see if that ultimately takes off. But here we go. This is kind of the about to wrap of the fight itself. You can see here I got tons of plague on me right now, so trying to get to safety and set myself up for success here. But yeah, those waves are fun. Freezing him here at the end definitely had a huge benefit, slowing him down, slowing his attacks, and being able to finish him off for the win. Guys, I hope you got something really good out of this video. I think there's a lot to break down. I think there's a lot to enjoy, and I look forward to hearing any kind of thoughts. If you guys have any requests for guides and more, keep it locked here or jump into the Discord. It's absolutely free to do so. Would love to have you a part of the community. But outside that, guys, just wishing you all the absolute very best. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video. But until then, take care.
Lord, no rest for the wicked. Ride hard or lay low. There ain't no checkpoint down that road. Hold your steel, let the fire rise in your chest. One shot, one life. Now fight like the